Welcome, guys, to another video brought to you by your one and only literary pharaoh. I'm here to talk about the Super Bowl matchup: Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. And I don't think that out of the AFC, I don't think that the best team is represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Well, let me say it this way: the team that made it from the AFC to the Super Bowl, New England Patriots. I'm here to say that their path to the Super Bowl was paved by the football gods in a way where the path was made very, very easy. Um, I'm not here to discredit New England Patriots. I'm not a New England Patriot fan. I'm not a Seattle Seahawk fan, but which allows me to be very objective. Um, Perhaps maybe I'm a little bit upset because I am a Houston fan. I'm very upset at the way CJ Stroud played. I believe that CJ Stroud literally handed New England Patriots that win. I believe that a competent quarterback in playing for Houston Texans would have been enough to beat the New England Patriots because of the Houston Texans defense. I was watching Speak Easy yesterday, and there was some kind of pushback. There was some sort of pushback in a response to Dan Orlovsky, the NFL analyst for ESPN. And he made a comment about CJ Stroud. And he said that 31 other quarterbacks in the NFL would have would not have done what CJ Stroud did, that 31 other quarterbacks in the NFL would have gotten over the hump. I agree with that. And people say that that's too harsh of a take. Some people saying that Dan Orlovsky is out of place to make a comment like that because he wasn't that great of a quarterback. But you don't have to be a great quarterback to have your opinion. I'm not a quarterback and I have my opinion. Okay. So whether you're a former player or not, that was the whole debate on Speakeasy about being a great player earns you the right to be a little bit more harsher in your critique towards another quarterback. But I mean, everyone has their right to be harsh on their critique. And just as bad as CJ Stroud played, he deserves to hear the truth. I don't care who he hears it from, whether it's a 100 round pick quarterback, who never played in the NFL, or a legendary quarterback who played in the NFL. He stunk. He stunk. He literally gave the game away. He literally almost gave the Pittsburgh game away. Am I going to sit here and say that Pittsburgh is a better team than the Texans? No, but Texans almost lost that game. Am I going to sit here and say that New England Patriots are better than the Houston Texans? No, CJ Stroud lost that game. So I don't understand why D'Amico Ryans never benched him. I think that the loss, the way that the season went, especially the tail end, it falls on D'Amico Ryans because as the coach, you are the executive decision maker. The executive decision goes with you. You may not be the offensive coordinator. You may not have a heavy influence in terms of the offensive schemes and the offensive plays. We understand that you are a defensive minded coach. But with that being said, you're supposed to make an executive decision. The guy was playing horrible. I don't know why. Did you think that Mills was going to play worse than that? There's no way. That's why I believe what Dan Orlovsky said. It came off of the heart. It came off of the dome. I don't think he rehearsed that. I think he just said it. He just said it. CJ Stroud has played himself out of a contract. The Houston Texans would be financially irresponsible to pay that guy. No, let him pick up his 5th-year option. Let him play it out. He doesn't deserve a contract. Henderson does. The other defensive players do. He held that team back single-handedly. So I don't think that New England Patriots' path to the Super Bowl is a path that you can say without equivocation to say that they're proven. They haven't gone through the gauntlet. And then the next game that they played after the Texans, Denver Broncos, well oopsie doo. What do you know? Bo Nix, their starting quarterback, is out for the season with a broken ankle. You see these gifts that New England is getting or was getting. So, I mean, that's just the way it goes in sports. And I'm going to sit here and say that I don't think that the best team is being represented in the AFC. But of course, they're in the Super Bowl. So novices and casuals alike are going to see, oh, these are the two best teams. Not necessarily. I believe that Houston Texans had a legendary defense, elite defense, generational defense, and it all got squashed because of an incompetent quarterback, CJ Stroud. And sometimes you have to save athletes from themselves. And the look on CJ Stroud's face against New England, how defeated he looked as a coach. You can't pep talk a guy out of that. He is in his own head. At that moment, you sit him and you bring in the backup. You have a game to win. This is not a regular season game. It's either win or go home. This is not the time to experiment and do the little cliche talk that D'Amico Ryans was talking about during the presser when he was talking about, oh, no, he's our guy. Well, he may be your guy, but he's not our guy tonight. He is going to be put on the bench for the backup. You can be our guy next game, or maybe never. People forget that when Stroud was out, excuse me, hold on here. People forget that when Stroud was out, that Mills held it down for the time that CJ Stroud was out. Mills actually kept the Texans above water. Competent. When you have a great defense, a generational defense like that, ask Trent Dilfer when he played with the Ravens. Don't lose the game. What did CJ Stroud do? Lost the game. There was only so much the Houston Texans defense could do. You basically made their job extremely, extremely hard. And I didn't even know this stat, that every time that the Houston Texans gave the ball away, the defense for the Houston Texans stopped them 3 and out. They did not score once off of the Houston Texans turnovers. Typically when a team turns over the ball, the other team at least gets 3 points out of it. They get something out of it. Not one thing they get out of it. They didn't get anything out of it. All right, hold on. So they didn't get anything out of it. That speaks to the remarkable nature of the Houston Texans defense. So yeah, I'm a bit in my feelings today because I just watched New England just waltz in to the Super Bowl. Just ding, 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 ding. And then they played Denver without Bo Nix in the blizzard. So I mean, come on. So this is what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. Either the Patriots get exposed because this is their first true test that they're playing an actually complete team. But the way that things are going, I'm very good at reading the tea leaves in terms of being aware about the things that are going on around me, right? There seems to be a trend. There seems to be a pattern. There seems to be something developing here. And what it's telling me is that New England Patriots are just destined to win the Super Bowl, not because they're the best team. This is what I project. This is what I foresee happening. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't predict the future. This is just an assumption on my part. So take it how you want to take it. I think that because of the sequence of events that have occurred that has allowed the New England Patriots to get to the Super Bowl, I feel like they're a team of destiny, not because they're a great team. They're a team of destiny. That team, New York Giants, the team that beat the undefeated New England Patriots when Brady had Randy Moss. Now you're going to sit here and say that the Giants were a better team than the Patriots? No. Sometimes it's one game. This is not NBA playoffs where it's the best out of 3, or the best out of 5, or the best out of 7. It's one game. Just like the NCAA basketball tournament, March Madness, you have games that are played. And if you have a bad night that one night, and even if you're the team that's favored, you could be bounced out by a team that's just hot. So in football, the parity is very, very real. All these guys put on their cleats the same. Now, you may have one team that might have the significant advantage in personnel, but there are many things that can go wrong in a football game. Fumbles, the referees also play a part in decisions. that happen in the football games in terms of the outcome. You have blown calls, you have bad calls. There's so many variables, and all the variables have been working in the favor of the New England Patriots, which leads me to believe that they are going to be the Super Bowl champions. Again, not because I think that they're a better team than Seattle Seahawks. If you ask me, I think that Seattle Seahawks on paper are a better team. Defensively, their running game, I believe that Sam Darnold and Drake May are comparable. Now, Sam Darnold does take risks sometimes, a little bit of a gunslinger. He could put the ball in harm's way. But in terms of arm talent and running using their legs, the deep ball, they're both good. They're both comparable. I can't really say that now. Drake May statistically had a better season because he's second. To me, he's not going to win the MVP. It's going to go to Matt Stafford, but he was in the running for the MVP. Sam Darnold wasn't because of his turnovers, but his team did well. And there was a stat that I saw the other day. It said that in 2 seasons, I believe, they said that Sam Darnold was like 30-2, something like that. I forgot what that stat was. I read it somewhere. So he's a winner. And I don't mind turnovers if they're done when they're done. The kind of turnovers that CJ Stroud had were demoralizing to a team. Those are the kind of turnovers that psychologically impact your team in a negative way, where there's no turning back from that. But yet that Texas defense stood firm and they fought to the end. They could not overcome their idiotic, incompetent quarterback, CJ Stroud. At that point, if you're selfless and if you're about team, I think that CJ Stroud should have taken himself out the game and say, "Hey, coach, I don't have it today. Something's up with me. Go ahead with Mills. We won't call you a quitter yourself." Horrible. And like I think it was okay, my camera went up. Troy Aikman made the comment. He said something to the effect of he feels like CJ Stroud is chasing his first season. Yeah, I don't know. Did he just stop putting in the work? I don't know. So this game, Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots, because of the way things have been going, I foresee the New England Patriots winning.